Welcome to Myrtle Beach. I'm Sam Weiderhaft, and this is another episode of Behind the Seams, presented by RipTydz, Oceanfront Grill, and Rooftop Bar, and Bummz Beach Cafe. All right, we're hanging out here at the beachfront side of Bummz, and we have the return of an old guest to Behind the Seams, our Assistant General Manager of Sales, Ryan Cannella. Welcome back to the show, sir.
What a great way to spend the afternoon.
Can't complain. We got a breeze going. It's great weather. We're starting to really get into the summertime months, and I can't believe somehow we are already through halfway of the season.
It's crazy. It feels like we just had opening day, like all that excitement, and all of a sudden we're halfway through the season.
What have been some of the favorite moments that you've had at the ballpark throughout the first half of the season?
You can't beat human cannonball night. I've never seen someone get launched out of a giant cannon on a baseball field, so for me that was the peak of the first half for sure.
I tell you what, our team is doing a really good job of making me feel jealous because that was one of the 3 games I was not here for, and I missed Human Cannonball Night, and all the videos I've seen, all the reactions I've heard, it's just incredible, and I just missed one of like the best nights in Pelicans history.
You really did. We haven't done many promotions where the team has stayed out on the field after the fact to see what the heck is going on, and the entire Pelicans roster and coaching staff was still out in right field watching this entire thing happen. So, I mean, I think that speaks for itself.
Well, every once in a while, they'll hang out after the game for a fireworks show, and now that we're into our summer months, we got fireworks on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Sunday nights. I mean, the fans are really getting a full experience, not only just the baseball game, but a lot of things going on outside of it and then after the game as well. What about on the field with the team? I know the team's been getting better. They finished strong here in the first half, had a really exciting last home game of the first half with a walk-off double by Drew Bowser. What have you liked seeing on the field so far in this first part of the season?
Alfonso Rosario's my guy. Every time he makes contact, the ball is just absolutely smoked. So between him, Bowser, Wetzel, I mean, those 3 guys are really carrying the team, I feel like, on the bat side of things, and they're hitting the ball hard. So
since we last recorded, Jacob Wetzel has set some records. He's the franchise leader in RBI, in walks, in runs scored. He's hitting the ball really well now this season for the Pelicans. It's been really fun to watch. You know what happens with this show. We got some questions for you to give some fans more insight about, kind of the background of what happens with our team. The first one is actually about this show. How did Behind the Seams with RipTydz and Bummz come to be?
Well, it all started with a meeting with Dave Goodbread. He's our guy over at RipTydz and Bummz. He's a friend of the program for sure. Love that guy. And we just kind of started talking about how we can bring RipTydz and the whole experience to our fans and show them what they're missing out with these 2 great locations. And I don't think there's any better way to show it off than to bring the experience to the fans, show them the experience. You really don't know what it's like until you see it and experience it for yourself. So outside of just getting people there directly, the best way to show it off is these great views. I mean, that's what people come to this city for. That's why people live here. Being beachfront is the place to be, and these 2 restaurants are 2 of the best on the ocean. So we were just kind of talking about how we can bring that experience to our fans and the ballpark, and that started with the RipTydz rally deck there, and then ultimately this content series and this season. So
I tell you what, I love hosting this show because I look forward to it, because this is the 1 day per month I get to get outside and tan. And that's what we're doing right now at Bummz. We're on the beachfront side of it, in the back of the building, out on the grass, and I just get to tan a little bit, and relax. Another big one, Cannella, that we are recently coming off of, we had Deaf Awareness Night in June, the 6th annual event. Pelicans came out. They wore their 2018 jerseys when they first did the event. You've been behind the whole thing. Tell me about what's gone into that the past few years and what's made it so special.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to the community, right? Like, we're the stage for it, but without Michael Sokolic and Amy Herrera and the interpreters that help us out for that evening, the night itself doesn't happen. Jason Herdich being a part of that. So, Michael and his family, their daughter is deaf, and they really kind of, through learning that information and helping their daughter, they really realized that the city, just really the deaf community as a whole, doesn't get the amount of resources that they maybe need. So that's just our, attempt to shine a light on that, help raise some money for that community, help them get the full experience of a minor league baseball game, the sights, sounds, everything that goes into, making our experience what it is, and then ultimately, making everybody feel welcome at the ballpark, and that's what our ballpark and sports are all about.
So for every year up until this year, we came out with a different jersey with a different design. This year we go back to the 2018 jersey, which Buddy Bailey's jersey is actually in the Hall of Fame after that first night in 2018. Tell me about what went into the decision to not only go back to those 2018 jerseys, but also now make them a part of the on-field collection.
There's not many times that a team gets to have something that they've worked on and put together in, basically enshrined in the museum at the Hall of Fame with everything else that, is on display there. So that I think in itself shows us that we really needed to continue showing off that jersey and the accomplishments and the importance of that jersey to that community. And, it's great to have it continuously shown every year and continue to build on it.
You're a guy that's worked in sports for a while now. You played sports, you played college baseball, and now you've worked for the Pelicans for a good amount of years. What's some advice you have for the young professionals that are trying to get into the sports industry?
It sounds like really basic, but just take advantage of every opportunity you get. You really don't know, whether it's just a volunteer, you're volunteering at a race or, another sporting event for just maybe a day or a weekend or something like that, or it's more of an internship or a full-time role. But you never know what those relationships and that experience can lead to. So for myself, every job that I've ever had was my previous boss knowing my next boss. So making sure that you put 100% effort into each opportunity that you get.
I second that completely. Loving sports is obviously a big part of it, and that's step one, but getting to know people, making connections. When I was in college, I was saying yes to any opportunity I can get and just trying to get involved, and then one thing leads to the next, and next thing you know, you're off and running. So I completely understand what you're saying there. This is a great question. I'm happy we're getting to ask it here. If you were the commissioner for one day, and like I said, we're now past halfway through the season, so MLB All-Star Game is coming up. If you were the commissioner for one day, what's one change you'd make to the All-Star Game?
I'd like to get rid of AL/NL. Let's let the guys that are on the field make the decisions on who's on the team. So
that's how the NBA does it, right?
Yeah, let's kind of take a little page out of the NBA playbook and let's pick two captains. Let these guys draft the teams. I think that would be fun. Then you get to see a little bit. You get to maybe see De La Cruz and Gunnar Henderson on the same team or in the same lineup, stuff like that.
The change that I would make is after the fifth inning, you get a halftime show going. So everybody's off the field. Get a stage out there quickly. Do a 20-25 minute, maybe that's on the longer side, 15-20 minute halftime show. Come back in the sixth and play the rest of the game. My first band is Creed.
I was expecting you to say T Swift. I really am surprised that you went.
She already turned down the Super Bowl.
Well, we're not talking about if she would or wouldn't. You're the commissioner. You get to make you get to just.
Okay.
We're living in a fantasy world here.
Okay. All right. You're right. If I was the commissioner and I could do whatever I wanted, yes, Taylor Swift would play that first MLB All-Star Game halftime show. Maybe Creed could play the pregame show. And Creed's got to be a part of it somehow because their performance at the 2001 Thanksgiving halftime show was too good. So get them involved. It'd be a fun little thing. So the first half of the season just flew by. We had a ton of fun, made a lot of memories. But the good news, Cannella, we got a full second half ahead of us and many more exciting things happening at the ballpark that a lot of people are going to enjoy.
Christmas in July 26th. My wife will definitely be there all dressed up.
Nice.
Who doesn't love Christmas? Then we've got Pete the Cat on August 16th. I know there's a lot of families and young fans that are going to be excited to meet Pete and everything that goes into that show. And then August 30th, we've got Dino Night number 2.
Dino Night, the sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's better. It's great that we have an option of one in the springtime, one in the summertime.
Jurassic Park's been successful with plenty of them, so why can't we be?
And Cannella coming up in August, we have 2 bobblehead giveaways, which, if I know one thing about Pelican fans, they love their bobblehead giveaways. They line up hours before the game even starts. And the exciting thing is that these bobbleheads are two prominent individuals around the Myrtle Beach area. Really excited to see the fan reaction.
Yeah, I mean, two just legendary coaches for Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand as a whole. So you got Gary Gilmore, legendary Coastal Carolina coach, Omaha legend, World Series champion, has done a lot for this community and is loved by the coastal community for sure, and has done a lot for that baseball program. So we're excited to recognize him and thank him for everything that he's done, and then give the fans an opportunity to have something that they can take home and cherish forever. So that's going to take place on August 17th. I'm excited to see how that turns out and what that turns into. And then, recognizing for sure one of our own in Buddy Bailey and everything that he's done, not only for the baseball community as a whole, but the Pelicans and then all the players that, he's helped coach along the way. So he's won a ton of games himself, pushing for that #1 spot, but we're looking forward to recognizing him on August 31st.
And the bobbleheads are creative, right? It's Gary Gilmore, but it's not the Gary Gilmore that you think of when you think of Gilly. It's vacation Gary Gilmore, because he's now retired after a legendary career at Coastal Carolina. And then the Buddy Bailey bobblehead, obviously, with his over 2,000 wins. We got a little win counter for you so you can easily track those. Ryan Cannella, thanks for joining me and coming back to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Can't beat the view, can't beat the scenery and the camaraderie. So appreciate you having me, Sam.
I'm going to tan some more on the beach, but that was another episode of Behind the Seams presented by Bummz Beach Cafe and RipTydz Oceanfront Grill and Rooftop Bar.